Hello Dakota and welcome to another OT Weekly craft. Today we are going to be making an Earth Day craft in honor of today, April 22nd, Earth Day. Today's the day we think about how we take care of the world, the planet that we live on. So today's craft is using some trash, things you already have in the house. I've been collecting just different things, cardboard, bags, whatever. Things that are colorful are best for this particular one. We're going to be using something called the Yodogawa technique, which was created by an artist, or rather it is the artist's name of Hideki Shibata, who was born in 1976 in Okayama, Japan. So one of his creations was called Chinu the Black Sea Bream of Uno. So you can go check that out online, and hopefully we'll get there in person someday soon. So this is using trash to make something beautiful, to make an art piece that people can then look at and reflect on how they're using their materials. And ours is going to end up looking like this in honor of Chino the sea bream, which is a type of fish that is very delicious, unless you're vegan. So this one is all different types of trash. So a sushi container, a bottle cap, a bag, chips. We eat a lot of chips in my house. Just so you get an idea of what we have here. So you'll need scissors, you'll need a pen, you'll need glue, and you'll need lots of garbage. So I also set up a blanket with a pillow underneath it so I could sit comfortably and that all the garbage would be contained. So we're going to do this together. You saw the final product. We're going to draw a fish on our paper here. Now I've already drawn mine out, so we're going to go through and talk about it as we go. Okay, so you're going to make a curve on the top, and then a curve on the bottom. It'll look like an eyeball. We'll check and see how close we are. Then you'll draw a triangle with the point facing the body you just made, going up, down, and bringing it back in. Then you'll draw 3 fins, one on the bottom, one on the top, and one in the middle. And those can be a curve or a triangle. I'm going to do a curve. A curve on the bottom, a curve on the body, and a curve on the top. Should look something like this. And notice, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to cover it up with stuff. Okay, so we're going to start gluing things on here. I cut some things out so I could do things a little bit more quickly in the interest of time, because you can take your time cutting and making this craft. And you can rewind, you can pause, whatever you need to. I used a bag here to cut out a shape that would be big enough to cover the face. So mine is kind of like a curved shape that I'm going to put over the top, and we're going to do these bigger pieces together, and then you can continue on and do the scales. So I cut out that curve. It's a half circle, and now you might have to trim and get it adjusted. And I'm going to glue that down on my fish, just right in the front. I also cut out a tail from a sushi container. So you can use the container and cut out a corner. You can keep the pretty pattern or not. Keep in mind that when there are edges, you'll have to trim those so they don't pop up, unless you have a hot glue gun and a parent that can help you. And keep in mind they have their work to do too, right? So using your glue. And I have a Q-tip so I can be a little bit more exact. I could practice my grasp as well. So I've got some glue on my fin. I'm going to put that down. So we have our head and our tail. And then I've cut out a couple other things that I think are a little bit tricky, so we want to talk about it. So the eyeball, what you need is just any sort of cap. You can also cut out a circle if you'd like. If you're using a cap like this that is hollow, which all caps really are, you want to make sure that you don't have sharp edges. So this metal one is kind of sharp. So if you're using sharp edges, you want to have someone nearby making sure that you're doing so safely, or that you cut something else out or use some tape around the edges to make it softer, or rather more protected. You're going to push pieces of cardboard. So I've ripped pieces of cardboard from a cereal box like that. And you're going to rip your piece, and you're going to push it in there. You have to fill it up so that you can then glue it down. So keep ripping it and putting it in the cap until it's full, and it will look like this with glue and filled with cardboard. Check it out. you want to make sure you get glue on the cardboard and around the edges of your cap. And you can then take it and push it down right on the face. Now if you have a permanent marker, you can put a dot right in the middle there, or you can cut out one of your own. I'm going to give him a little blue eye. So I've got some paper here. I'm going to cut that out, just like a big chunk of it, and I'll make a little circle. Now you can draw these onto the paper, you can cut them out just as they are. We'll give him a little eye, get a little glue on there. A little dot in the middle perhaps. He looks kind of scared now. And then what you're going to do is cut out the fins, so the top, the bottom, and the middle. Kind of looks like a comb, like a half of a circle again. Now, if you are in Miss Fraser's class, you might even know the name for that. If you do, you can always comment here and let me know, or comment where I post it. So, putting it on the top, and then you'll have your fin on the body. And that bottom one, you're going to get your glue on there after you've cut it out. It will go just like that. So then you have your base, and you'll fill all of this, you'll fill all of that in with scales. So that will happen if you move it too much. You got to be patient. So you have your eyeball down. When you're putting on the fins, or the scales I should say, I want to show you a little bit closer to the camera, so I'm going to come a little bit closer to you to talk about how to layer them. But when you're cutting them out, you have a couple options. So you could have a piece that you've already cut that you like the shape, that you then put on top of the bag to cut it out. So then you have a guide. So that would look like this, where you're cutting around the guide, cutting all the way around the guide. So then all of your fins will be the same size. So you could see that's two of the same, just like that. Or you could cut it into a strip. So I've got a little piece here. You could do, just cut a piece out and then cut the piece next to it. You can cut out strips in the bag, a nice long straight line that you can then cut these out on. So whatever you want to do in terms of size that you have, and when I say cut out a strip, I'll show you on this bag. You're going to cut out a nice line all the way down. You might even be able to guide your scissor down and let it go. There you go. Now this is hard to demonstrate. I apologize. And you've got your strip like that. Then you could cut from here too. And cut all the way down. So you can keep it going just like that. And then when you actually are going to glue on your scales, you're going to want to do it in layers. So when you put one on top of the other, it makes it look very interesting and pretty, just like we saw in the other one. I also cut some silver from a chip bag, and you can use those two to kind of fill in between. Just a nice pop of color. You want to have the curved side facing back, and then you're going to put that down onto the glue, just like that. And when you layer it, this next piece might go over here. You might take this off for a moment so you could fill in underneath. And see how I'm moving them in different spots. So the glue is going to hold them down. You can always re-glue. I didn't put very much glue here, but just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. So you can move it around. Place them down first. Push it down, get a glue. So then you're getting it set up for layers like that. And when you're finished, it'll end up looking like this. Have fun.